Slenderman used to just be this small indie horror game where you walk around the woods with a flashlight looking for 8 pages scattered around. The goal was simple, but he was trying to get you. Slenderman could appear anywhere. Sometimes he was behind a tree or a wall. The screen would start to static and there was nothing that you could do. No weapon, no defense. You could only walk faster and hope that he wouldn't appear in front of you or behind you. But Slenderman was one of the first entities to cause my heart to race. And looking back at it now, I realized that it was because of the feeling of helplessness. You couldn't fight him, and as a result, that made him unstoppable. Later, the internet would turn him into a joke. Well, not turn him into a joke, but like they would make memes out of him. The Slenderman wants $20 meme, give me $20. Back in school when we were kids, there wasn't any deep lore or mythology. All we knew was that he was out to get kids, and being kids at that time, it kind of made sense as to why we were even more scared of him, because it could have been any of us. But essentially, there were no big explanations about who he was or where he came from. He was just there. A blank, tall figure that followed you no matter how far you ran. The mystery made it even worse because there was nothing to understand or reason with. The fear came from the fact that he existed without explanation. He just came out of nowhere. In retrospect, I think that's what made Slenderman work. He represented a kind of horror that doesn't just rely on jump scares or blood. It's the quiet fear that comes from knowing something will happen, and that there is no way to change it. It's the fear of the inescapable. Slenderman started on an internet forum when a user named Eric Knudsen, who went by the name of Victor Surge, posted 2 black and white photos of children playing with a tall, faceless figure standing in the background. The pictures looked ordinary enough at first, but that strange figure made them feel wrong. They wrote fake police reports, diary entries, and missing persons posters. Some created short stories or edited their own photos to include him. The idea of Slenderman began to spread quickly. He was going viral, because there were no rules about who he was supposed to be. Every post built on the last one, shaping a collective myth piece by piece. He wasn't tied to any movie, book, or franchise. He was owned by no one and shaped by everyone. The internet turned him into a modern ghost story that existed everywhere at once. I mean, seriously, once Slenderman came into the picture, I stopped caring about the boogeyman. Anybody can make a new version of Slendy. Every version was treated as possibly real, and that's part of what made it believable. However, what made Slenderman stand out was how simple he looked. A tall, thin man, swagged out in a business suit with a blank face. The lack of detail made him flexible. He could belong in any setting, from an office to a forest, and always still feel unsettlingly out of place. That was a weird word. By the time the OG game came out, people already recognized the idea of being hunted by something that you couldn't understand. There was no central story and no single origin to trace, which gave him a kind of immortality. I mean, what the duck do you even do when you're faced with something that has no face, no voice, no motives? And that's what made him transcend to be more than just an internet story. He became this idea. He appears, he vanishes, he's far away, then he's in front of you. He distorts the screen when he's close, and even if you turn around and run in the other direction, he finds you again. He was part of the internet generation. For the first time, he was this monster that felt real. But there is still more to him. When I think about Slenderman, I see how something ordinary can become uncomfortable when it loses what makes it human. I mean, he never was human to begin with, I think, but it's just the appearance of him looking human. And this is what is known in psychology as the uncanny valley. The discomfort that people feel when something looks almost human but is not human enough. I feel that response whenever I look at him. In fact, seeing any figure without a face makes me uneasy. I recently played Silent Hill F, and pretty much all of the monsters in there have no faces, and that was deeply unnerving. But when I was playing Slender the Arrival, especially with the way that I approach video games, where I always try to piece stories together and find the motives for everything, for Slenderman, I could not understand what he wanted or what he was thinking. Like most people, faces help me read intent. Without one, it's harder for me to predict behavior. That absence makes my imagination fill in the missing parts. Sometimes I act off-putting towards someone just because I can't read them, so when my brain sees a faceless Slenderman, it gets my spidey senses tingling.